Spiritual Life Center.
Good morning.
Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. So nice to see you. We want you to know your soul is welcome here, and we're going to sing about it.
Yes, that's right. We are going to sing about it. Are you ready to sing? Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In my soul, oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome here. Your soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I'm just where I'm meant to be. Oh, my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Let me see your hands up. My soul is welcome here. Oh, oh, oh. My soul is welcome here. That's right. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Oh, welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Spiritual Life Center Experience. Good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you today.
Good morning, Reverend James, and we welcome you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this ministry, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and of course the beautiful, beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. If you're with us for the very first time today, we especially want to welcome you because we know, whether you're here online or in the sanctuary, because we know that you are not here by accident. All of us are here by
Divine appointment.
And we're so glad to see everybody this morning, and we're also very, very happy when you silence your electronic devices and, of course, wear your mask properly.
Well, this is Veterans Week, and we want to honor any veterans who happen to be in the sanctuary today. And we had a few of the first service. Any veterans, just stand, we can acknowledge you. We have JG, we acknowledged last somebody of this service as well. And we thank you for your contribution and all you've done to support this country in the ways that help all of us in some way, shape, or form. And with that, let us take a moment to connect with this presence that is the ultimate protector, the Spirit of the living God. We come under its government and its guidance. And as we do, we begin to connect with that presence so that all of the qualities that we know we are begin to be amplified in our life and in our world. Qualities of peace and harmony and love. and all that is good and perfect. We know that this presence is, and because we come from this presence, we are that as well. And so we're grateful to be the vessels and channels to bring this energy, these qualities in this world in which we live. Because we are the way that the presence and the power of the love of God gets around in this dimension. So we're grateful and thankful for the opportunity to do our part to anchor a little bit more of heaven on earth, anchor a little bit more of the expanding good in our world. And as we do, everyone is lifted up as we do our part. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Of course, our mission here at Spiritual Life Center is about making a difference in people's lives. And so I invite you to affirm our mission statement together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And there are 5 basic principles that underlie our teachings that help us do that. And I invite you again to say them together with me. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
And we want to say thank you for some action that Sally Sion took this week. She brought us our altar flowers. Thank you, Sally. They are beautiful.
Yes. And let's see what else we got. We have an event coming up that the Dapper JG is going to share with us what it's all about.
I'm just saying, it's all about the bling. You know, I try to tone it down, but I can't. I do the best I can. Okay, I'm here to talk about our celebration, our major fundraiser of the year. This is us all coming together. I mean, I am just like over the moon. That's the best word to describe how I feel about this particular gala. Do you realize that we have not only survived the pandemic, but we've thrived?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so what we do, you know, at our gala is we have the Gala Honorees. And our honorees this year are the SLC Music Ministry and the Audio Visual Team. Let's hear for them. You know, without them, I don't think we would still be as successful as we have been. You know, I'm also the chair of the Abundant Community Team, and our whole focus is prosperity thinking. Not only for, you know, money, but prosperity for where we're headed, the vision of transforming lives, because that's what we do, okay? And so with that thought in mind, we want to also honor our sponsors that help put on this event. And we really want to thank, is Josie and Tom here?
They were in the first service.
Yeah. Tom Rose and Josie Johnson are our major sponsors this year. So let's put our hands together for them. They're our global sponsors. Now, I could sit here and tell you all the wonderful things that we're going to do at the gala, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say that this year it's all about the dress. Dress to impress. So, for you people out there at home, that's also you, you know. Just because you're at home, don't be in your PJs, you know. This is your time to put on the bling, invite some friends over. Get my meaning? Okay? And this is our year to support SLC. You know, we want to support our mission. And our mission is what? Transforming lives. As we transform our lives, we transform the world. And so I think it's so important. But another person that's really important, too, Karen Drucker, is coming to us for the gala. And for those of you that don't know her, where have you been? I mean, she's amazing, amazing. So we're going to have a lot of good stuff, you know. The courtyard's going to be full with, you know, hors d'oeuvres and whatnot. So the thing is, get your tickets. Get them now. SLC folks, get your tickets now. We're notoriously always waiting at the last minute to get tickets. Well, let me let you know, tickets are now on sale. Do it as fast as you can because the sanctuary only can hold so many people. So if you want to get your bling on in person, you know, ladies, you know, gowns and whatnot and jewelry, all those diamonds that you got, you know, had. Oh, I got mine right here. Anyway, come join us. Come have fun. But get out there in that courtyard and get your tickets now. And you guys up on, you know, out in TV land, all you have to do is go to slcworld.org, hit the event page, and the rest is history. Okay?
Thank you, JG.
And next Sunday is Gratitude Sunday. It's always after the last week after, the week after we end Faith in Action. And it is also our pie social, so bring a pie, make sure it's sliced, and then he said last week his favorite pie is apple, and now he's saying they're anything, so.
Yeah, I'm keeping my options open. We invite you. Oh, who do we have next? Oh, okay, I'm next. Okay. And come to the table. Yes, that's coming up. Our Thanksgiving communion service is going to be on Wednesday, November the 24th at 7 p.m. This is going to be Thanksgiving Eve, and we're going to commune with one another. We're going to commune with the divine. We're going to do it in gratitude. We're going to do it with love. So to commune is to have an intimate conversation. And one of the most intimate things we can do with one another is share a meal together. So the services include myself and Reverend Deborah. And it's going to have music by Paula Mandela and Larry Shiflett. So thank you for showing up. And here's Paula. She has something to share about our annual Advent Spiral.
I wish I could come to the platform and just do the JG thing. Like,
yeah.
I just can't help myself. I'm going to go ad-lib. I'm going to ad-lib. Yeah. So I'm here to tell you about one of my favorite events that we do, which we didn't get to do last year, and that is the Advent Garden Spiral. So rather than putting on all your bling, for this event, you want to bundle up because we're going to do this outdoors next door in the parking lot at our neighbors. And we're going to have fire tables there, and you can bring your mug of whatever it is that you want to drink and come and hang out and then walk the spiral. It is a beautiful earth-based candle lighting ritual where we display the different images and icons from the four kingdoms of the earth: plant, mineral, plant, mineral, animal, and then the highest attainment of the human experience and consciousness. So, and it's just a beautiful ceremony. Everybody gets to walk to the center where you light your personal light from the light within, and then you carry it back out and into the world. So it's a beautiful symbolic ceremony. It will be on Wednesday, December 1st, from between 5:30 and 7:30 next door in the parking lot. So I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. And we have a few words from our Board of Trustees President, Kim McLaughlin. Yes. She's going to give us a board update on what's going on.
What's going on? Well, first, good morning. I'm Kim McLaughlin, Board President. And I'm wondering who's coming with me to the gala.
I'll be there.
Oh, my goodness. And you out there, I hope you all are raising your hand. You're coming to the gala. I actually, since we're doing the bling thing this year, I went shopping yesterday. And I was carrying around some blingy things, and people noticed me in the store. They go, "You're certainly dressing up." I go, "I have a fancy place to go to." So my husband and I will be all dressed up next week when we come to the gala. So the next thing I wanted to talk about with our board update is just about being on the board. And I have really been thinking about this, and what we have been doing more and more on the board is actually noticing that the higher level the consciousness is of the board, the more we literally come to the table differently. And so we've been focusing on that in our board meetings. And one of the ways we've been doing to increase our consciousness is we've been using this book, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And what we've been doing is we read a chapter each month, and then we talk about it. And we talk about how we are going to be conscious leaders to raise up our vibration. The other thing we're going to do is we've made a commitment that in January, Gary, our coach, is going to be working with us weekly on, what did he call it? He called it the quantum living process, and it's specifically for the board. So we're going to be learning more skills and practicing increasing our vibration, because we know that as each of us individually and collectively raise our consciousness, so goes the Spiritual Life Center. So thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you at the gala.
Yes.
And as you can tell from the parade of people we've had coming up here today, we have a lot going on between now and the end of the year. So the way to find out about everything that's going on at SLC, you can go out into the courtyard, look at the bulletin board, and also go over and talk to people at the hub, which is where you can sign up for the gala. If you are you can go to our website, and everything that you could possibly want to know about SLC is on our website, so check it out.
Yes, and at this time, I invite the chaplains who are present this morning and on duty, and any of our board members that are present, just to please stand. And the chaplains are wearing the white stoles, and they're available to pray with you immediately after the service here in the sanctuary or in the courtyard. So if you have a challenge that you'd like to see from a higher point of view, they're more than willing to hold that high watch for you. Or if you just have something you want to celebrate, they're willing to amplify the energy of celebration with you as well. So we thank the chaplains for their consciousness and holding the prayer energy for our community. And our board members are, as I was almost going to call you Reverend. Was that a vision in my mind? The whole idea of holding the consciousness is probably the most important thing that we do. But they also do some specific tasks that need to be done as a board member. So they bring their talent, their skills, their energy to do what needs to be done on all levels, for our facilities, from our finances, from the vision that we're working on as to the future. And we appreciate their work and their talent and what they bring to our community as well. So we thank them. And if you have any questions you'd like to ask of any of the board members, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer them to the best of their ability. So thank you for your service, both board members and our chaplains.
And we love to greet our newcomers, and in a moment we will ask you to raise your hand. But first we want you to know there are many ways to become connected here at SLC, and one way to do that is to fill out our welcome card. Now that welcome card is available online, and you can fill it out and submit it that way. If you are here on site and raise your hand, we will give you that card. If you can fill it out, take it out to the welcome table in the courtyard, and you will receive not only a warm welcome, but a very special gift.
So if anyone here for the first time, any first timers here this morning, if so, raise your hand. Yes, thank you so much for keeping your hand up. And we're going to give you the welcome card. We invite you to fill that out, as well as a purple ribbon. We invite you to wear that on the side where your heart is. If you'd like to get a special Spiritual Life Center welcome from the friends and members of Spiritual Life Center, we appreciate you. We affirm you and thank you for being part of our community this morning, and we support you on your spiritual path in a way that whatever supports you to grow, develop, and unfold. So appreciate your presence. And with that, we invite you to greet any of the newcomers or one another just in a way that people feel comfortable, and just say, glad you are here. You are marvelous.
Okay. You may be seated. We're going to sing our group song for the very last time. Look to the Beauty by Paula Mandela. It's the last time, right, Lori?
Well, yes, this is it for a while.
And Paula, yeah.
We might sing it again someday.
That's good. So we'd love for you to sing along with us for our
Pick a
last
part.
time. Yes. Ready?
Everybody has a story, unique and all their own.
Please sing.
Points of perception, featured characters and roles.
Ooh, I like it better with you guys.
When we start to name it, and we learn to play it, tumbling from the heavens, feeling all alone. These voices live inside my head, the storyteller's lies, dreams of illusions, flowing back to ancient times. Picasso-like distortions, bending what is true. Starry nights and moonlit skies are calling out to you. Look to the beauty all around and inside you. Know the truth of who you are. Every being, all creation, we are a part, reflections of the one light. Love from source, straight to your heart. There are no wrong emotions. What you feel is real. All is perfection, seeking to reveal. Look to the beauty all around and inside you. Know the truth of who you are. Every being, all creation, we are a part, reflections of the one light. Love from source, straight to your heart. Look to the beauty all around and inside you. Know the truth of who you are. Every being, all creation, we are a part, reflections of the one light. Love from source, straight to your heart. Look to the beauty. Look to the beauty. Oh, you gotta look to the beauty. Look to the beauty.
Ooh, Russell.
Look to the beauty.
That's beautiful.
It's all around and inside. To the starry, starry nights, paint your palette blue and gray. It's tumbling from the heavens. To the starry nights and moonlit skies, the directions of the light. Starry nights and moonlit skies, reflections of the light. We gotta look to the beauty.
Russell on the guitar. I mean,
Look to the beauty all around us. Well, we have some more beauty and some more art to share this week. And for those who have been part of Spiritual Life Center's Faith in Action program, we know that each week we have an artist, a resident artist that gives a pictorial representation of the topic for the week or some topic that we covered throughout the series. And the first artist is Diana Mandela. And her artwork is entitled, "The Tree of Life Has Blossomed." And this is what she writes about her artwork. Don Miguel Luis has written the story of his life path to now. He speaks of the changes in his understanding of who we all are and what we came to do. Each of us has a path to follow to learn that we are all beings of God and the light of love. We came to the earth to be the voice of knowledge, that we are the blossoms of light and love on the tree of life, and we are beautiful. The future is depending on us to use our talents and energy to lead us to a world that is love for all. So shine on all you blossoms. I wanted to say it so well. So shine on, all you blossoms. Shine on. And our second artist is Caitlin Rowe. And this is our first time, I believe, of doing a Faith in Action art program. I'm having a little challenge today with my enunciation. Maybe it's because I'm reading her title, which is Clearly Muddy. And this is what she writes about her artwork. Don Miguel states, "Your life becomes a masterpiece of art when the storyteller only tells you truth." Chapter 12 tells us that when we filter out the lies we tell ourselves, we are left only with truth, which brings us back to a paradise of sorts. This chapter was annoyingly relatable. But I figured it would only add more meaning to what I created. My piece sums up my understanding of the chapter and shows my progress in filtering out those lies. The white side represents my lies, which are dark, but also what I seem to shine more light on. The black side represents my truth with our light, but also what I don't see or am unclear on. The golden triangle is the filter that represents the work I'm doing to filter out my lies and clarify my truth. The rainbow represents my story without the lies and shows the small amount I've filtered out so far. I did a small piece to practice for the final version and found that my process was its own summary of the chapter. First, I created the side with my lies, which was quick, easy, and effortless. My truths, on the other hand, kept showing up muddy and not very defined. I scraped off that whole side 3 times before I told myself I had to be okay with whatever it looked like. It was funny and interesting to see how clearly the process mirrored myself and the chapter. Although I know in my head how solid my lies are and how uncertain my truths are, this allowed me to see it more visually. Don Miguel's statement, "Recovering control of our story," gives us the freedom to create our life as beautifully as we can as artists of the spirit, came to life in my painting. Clearly Muddy. Caitlin Rowe. All right. Caitlin always has some very insightful insights of herself in everything that she does. So thank you, Caitlin.
We are an awesome community, are we not? Well, let's speak out loud our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now let us prepare for meditation with this Beautiful chant. Spirit in me.
I invite you all to take a nice deep breath in your seats. Let it out through your mouth. Close your eyes if you wish, and sing with us.
Spirit in me, live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, Spirit of light and love. Spirit in me. Spirit in me. Live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, Spirit of light and love. Spirit in me. Give through me, speak through me, move through me, love through me, oh Spirit, Spirit in me, oh Spirit in me.
As we settle into this time of quiet, breathe naturally. Simply allow your body to relax with each breath. Breathe into the back of your heart. Melt into your seat. Allow your vision to become soft and cloudy as you close your eyes. And shift your focus to the gentle background music. Imagine it as a magical stream flowing into the middle of your chest, directly into your physical heart. This energy slowly rotates and becomes a spiral. The energy wins its way around your heart, expanding so that your entire chest is filled with a spiral of healing musical energy. As the spiral goes round, a small spiral arm separates out and rotates down your torso to fill your left leg and foot. And now another spiral arm appears and makes its way down, filling your right leg and foot. As the main spiral spins in your torso, yet another arm spins off into your left shoulder, arm, hand. And again, an arm spins off into your right shoulder, arm, and hand. And the main spiral sends off one more up through your neck and into your head. You are a galaxy, your heart the center. It is the movement of spirit within you that rotates the central spiral and sends the arms of musical light to the far reaches of your body. Each cell is infused with this God light energy. Every cell is activated. Every cell wakes up and joins in this dance of love, light, and healing. For a dance is what this is. The essence of God energy moves and circulates in and around you, each cell activating the next. The cells dance with each other in the light of God, and they know every step of the dance. Your very essence is dancing with the one source, the light of light, the one holy energy. There is nothing in you but light and love. And you laugh in the pure joy of dancing with spirit, never missing a step, of being in complete harmony with your source. And you feel so alive as you dance with the divine in the silence. God in you, you in God. You feel so alive. And as you take a breath and begin to return to your physical body, receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, God lives and moves within you. Love, light, and healing, the movement of spirit within you is perpetual. It is what makes you feel so vital, so alive. And though you must return to worldly concerns, know that you are never alone, and you shall always be lifted to new heights by love and light. You are always dancing with God. Remember this, always.
This thank you goes out to all of our veterans. Somewhere there's a mother crying in her hands, praying for the son who's fighting in the sand. And somewhere there's a boy who's in a danger zone, fighting to ensure his mother's safe at home. And you say, can you see that freedom isn't free? We thank you for doing what you do to make sure we have the right to live the way we choose. Someone had to sacrifice, risk their own to save a life. So thank you for doing what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do. Somewhere there's a And oh, say, can you see that oh, freedom isn't free? We thank you for doing what you do to make sure we have the right to live the way we choose. We thank you for making a tenth of you who come through, who walk in your shoes. Someone had to sacrifice, risk their own to save a life, and know that we are praying for you every day, and know that we are waiting, and we are so proud to say thank you for doing what you do. We thank you for being the one of the few who go through what you go through and walk in your shoes. Someone has to sacrifice, risk their own to save a life. So thank you for doing what you do. You bring home what you do. You bring home what you do. Yes, you do what you do.
Well, thank you for that wonderful rendition of NDRE's song that's a tribute to our soldiers and troops through the years. Well done, well done. Well, once again, we're here for our Faith in Action series, the last week. So we thank all of those who have been part of this process. And as well as we thank all those who happen to be online as we've been studying the book, The Voice of Knowledge. I think for me, the voice of knowledge really represents our perception of reality, what we perceive to be real. And one of the things I've realized is that most of us do not see reality. What we see are our thoughts about reality. And over time, our stories, our thoughts, and beliefs, they become embedded in our awareness and our consciousness. And as far as we're concerned, they're real and they're absolutely true. And I don't understand why those other people don't see it the same way. But then there are events that may take place that cause us to question our stories, to question what is true, and maybe even change our perception of what's real. I had two such experiences, a couple I may have shared before, but it really began to change my perception of reality significantly. I mentioned in the earlier service, I don't know how many years ago, as I think about it now, look at it and I see people, I said, everybody seems to be younger than me. But anyways, I was in my mid-30s, I believe, at the time. And I had just come out of the dark night of my own soul. I was at the lowest point in my life, and I ended up going to a drug rehab center for an extended period of time. And I was there for a couple of months. And I had a lot of work to do on myself, mostly, self-forgiveness. I had a lot of guilt about what I had done to my life, at least what I thought I had done to my life. And I had reached that point where the guilt had lifted from my shoulders. I felt light. It was almost like my life had been transformed just by releasing my perception that I had had about myself and the unforgiveness that I had. And I remember one day I was coming home from I don't know where, but I was probably working a part-time job, and And I really didn't have anything materially, but it was the best time in my life because I was seeing myself far more clearly than I ever had. Anyway, I was coming home. I was getting off the bus. I was walking to my efficiency at the time. And suddenly, out of the blue, uninvited, I had this experience in which every single thing around me collapsed into a sea of oneness. It was a phenomenon I couldn't explain in words, but there was no separation between me and the trees or the birds or me and anyone else or the building. I could actually almost see a vibration connecting everything on a vibratory level. And it was something that, you just can't explain to other people because they don't understand. But it changed my perception of reality, and that sense of oneness really began to set the foundation for the golden thread of my philosophy when it comes to spirituality. It is a foundational piece. But then there was another incident that took place. There was a friend of mine who, how can I just say that this individual was the individual who was able to, who uninvited, had entities would speak through her. And it was very disturbing. This individual would go into a trance and then all of a sudden start speaking a language that she never knew, never understood. And she'd asked me to be there when it happened and asked me to record it. And after it had taken place, she wanted to try to get rid of these entities coming through her. And so we went to go see a gentleman by the name of Brian Weiss, I think his name is. He wrote a book called Many Lives, Many Masters. And Brian Weiss, in his book, he's a Yale-trained psychiatrist, as I recall. And he happened to be in South Florida at the time that we were there. So we went to go see him because he came to do a speech at the center I was at. And we asked him, about this because she wanted to get rid of these entities. And he simply said, all you have to do is tell them to stop, go away, and don't come back, and they'll leave you alone. And that's what she did. And they never came back. They left her alone. Now, I say all of this because, like I said, I usually don't share these kind of things with everybody. Because normally if you speak to people about like this, they'll look at you and say, okay, that's interesting. They really don't have any idea what you're talking about, and they don't want to tell you crazy or anything like that. And, maybe they'll just say, okay, that's interesting. Let me tell you about my problems. But here's the deal. It changed my perception of what reality is. What I thought was real in that moment changed. Now, I don't think my life necessarily changed dramatically after that. I still had my challenges and difficulties in the human experience, but my perception of reality did change. And I no longer strictly departmentalized stuff because I saw things I previously did not see. That oneness experience, I said, well, maybe it didn't really happen. Maybe I was having a hallucinogenic flashback from some other things I had done in my life, and I was flashing at that moment. But the second incident I couldn't deny because I had a tape of it. So it happened. So Don Miguel notes that there are many realities that exist, but we only perceive the reality where we focus our attention on. Mostly that reality for us are the stories that we've been told by others or the story that we tell ourselves. And he talks about the car accident that he had, if you read it, the chapter, and he said he came face to face with death, which he traveled outside of his body, and he could see his body asleep at the wheel. And he began to question, who was he? And he asked himself, well, what am I? I'm not a body. I'm not a mind. What am I? Just as an aside, we have a body. We have a mind, but we are not those things. But he said that whole incident upended his whole belief system and the story about what he thought was real. In my case, the oneness experience caused my perception of reality to change, where I said I no longer segmented or departmentalized the world based upon appearance, what things looked like. I used to think that, things look pretty much as I see them. They look about right to me. There's a tree over here. There's a bird over there. There are people over here. They're the right people over there. They're my people. And life is hard, and then it's over. People call that death. I think that makes sense to me. But as one person who was having an existential angst over their belief about spirituality and the reality asked, what if we're all wrong? What if we're all wrong? It kind of reminded me as I was thinking about this, I was watching an episode of South Park. I don't know if you ever watched South Park. It's very entertaining and has an irreverent kind of program. And they had an episode in which they were talking about, religions and spirituality. And they were saying that all the religions were wrong and and all of those things except one. There was only one religion that was right. And they concluded it was the Mormons. Okay. You have to watch the episode to really understand it. But I think channeling those entities from another dimension gave me a whole perspective, a different perspective on the view of death. We don't talk about that. Somebody said that, I'm not, as I said, I'm not trying to rush to the next dimension. I want to live in this one as long as I possibly can and enjoy it as long as I possibly can. But I have a different perspective on what lies ahead. Some have the story that, life is hard and then you die. It's over, kaput, nothing else exists. I was talking to a doctor, a medical doctor, and they said they don't believe in anything else. There's no God or anything. Once it's over, it's over. And that's a belief. But that experience, working with an individual channel, changed my perception of what is real, the truth about reality. Because there's something about us that never dies. There's something about us that is absolutely an emanation of the Spirit of the living God that has been here yesterday, today, and forever. We can't explain it intellectually, just as I had that experience in which, you just have to know that you know that you know. But once you do, the story changes. Our perception of what real changes. The ultimate story most people have is the illusion of the finality of death. Yes, the body dies, but there's a part of us that has never been hurt, that's never been harmed, never been endangered in any same way, shape, or form, because the real part of us is infinite beings, a dynamic goodness and love in expression that is in the mind of the God presence. I don't believe we've ever had a beginning or an end. Now, we all have our fears. I think most people will acknowledge that there's some things they have fears about, real or imagined, unless, of course, they have some sort of psychological thing going on where they say, I fear nothing. But here's the thing. All of our fears, what I've come to conclude, all of our fears, 100% of them come from the virus or the story that we've been infected with that says we have a body and then we will die. Every other fear is weaved around that virus. The fear of loss, the fear of limitation, the fear of letting go. That's a tough illusion or story to break from. As one comedian said, I'm not afraid to die. I just don't want to be here when it happens. But we're infinite beings. That's a different story. That's a different story from we're here for a bit, then it's over. But as the reading notes, there are many realities or stories that exist, but we only see the ones we give our attention to. Years ago, there was a movie that came out that you may be familiar with, those who have been around for a while. It was entitled, What the Bleep Do You Know? And it stirred up a lot of controversy. The whole movie for some people was controversial for some quarters. But I recall one segment of it about some folks on the continent, and they were not able to see the ships that were coming on the ocean because, according to them in the movie, it was outside the sphere of their experience. Now, I would say that they did see those ships and they grasped what they were, but they ignored them since they did not pose immediate danger to them, and so they thought. But the point they were trying to make is that we focus so much of our attention on our stories and what we believe reality to be, we lose much of what is happening around us all the time that we have no idea we miss. You know, many are maybe familiar with Malcolm X. He's sometimes been quoted, and I always say, if you have not read the autobiography of Malcolm X, it's worth a read. If not, at least watch the movie version by Spike Lee on Malcolm X, or called X. But for those who know a little about him or don't know, he was a black activist and a leader of the struggle for black liberation. And most know him as the militant separatist. But what people don't know, his story changed. He went to go visit Mecca. And after that experience, he wrote a letter to his family, and he wrote a letter back to America to his followers. And he was talking about the time he wore the traditional garb of the Muslims and made the 7 circuits around Kaaba. And Kaaba is the stone structure which is in the great mosque of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. And he says he drank from the well of Zamzam and prayed to Allah and from the Mount Arafat. And he said it was the only time in his life that he stood before the creator of all and felt like a complete human being. And he went on to write. He went on to write these words. He said something to the effect that I have eaten from the same plate, drunk from the same glass, prayed to the same God with fellow Muslims whose eyes were blue, whose hair was blonde, whose skin was white as white could be, and they were all brothers, truly people of all colors and races, believing in the one God, in the one humanity. You see, Malcolm X saw a new reality. He wrote a new story for himself. Now, he still fought to eradicate injustice wherever he happened to find it. He was still very militant about that, but the story was from a higher point of view. It was a story seen through the eyes of love. And as I say, love is more than a feeling. Love is an energy that binds all of humanity together. And when that becomes our story, we show up differently. We act differently. And the collective story begins to change. But we must break away from the voice of knowledge. The voice of knowledge, which is the voice that is often so very loud. And it will shout out all of its stories. They have to have these demands left, and they got to have M&Ms, and they have to be one color, in a certain location and stuff like that. And the guy Brian said that when he got Robin Williams' writer, he was surprised what he found. Because Robin Williams had a requirement that every single event or every film that he did, the company hiring him also had to hire a certain number of homeless people and put them to work. And the agent said he never watched a Robin Williams film the same way again after that. The agent knew that Robin had used his time and his money, his resources to help many people out along the way that most folks may not know about. But he also decided to use his clout as an entertainer with influence to make sure that production companies and event planners also learned the value of giving people a chance to work their way back. Robert Williams had this writer in his contracts, I think ever since he did his very first major film, which was, I still remember Moscow on the Hudson. That was probably in the 80s. So I'm really dating myself. And all the homeless people there at each location that worked there had to be fed, and they were assigned extra commissary and a truck and given vouchers to the local motel so they could get rest before they appeared on the set the next day. His act of kindness and giving back defined this man. That was his story. And I believe he recognized our interconnectedness with all of humanity and was doing his part to create that interconnectedness. Well, as we close out our 7-week series, we recognize that if we practice the principles from Don Miguel's text, the voice of knowledge, and particularly if we begin to question our stories, it opens us up to new possibilities that can reflect the better angels of our nature. We can take that second look, that dream of second attention, and create new stories. Stories that begin to break down the artificial barriers that we have created sometimes between people, between groups, between nations. New stories that download the beloved community that Dr. Martin Luther King talked about. New stories in which we begin to look at one another and begin to see the magnificent, inherent, divine beauty that are expressions of God in each and every one of us. Understand, when we listen to that voice of spirit, we'll stop seeing the differences that we have created. We'll say, look at that wonderful light shining through that person. Now, they have a very unique way of shining their light. They got a unique way of being in the world. We'll have new stories. We will not only just see color, rather we'll see the different shades of the infinite presence that all of this has come from. We'll not just see separate cultures. We'll celebrate all of these cultures and see the many variations of how this infinite presence that we call God needs all of them to reveal and reflect its infinitude. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now. A new story in which we do see the heavens and the ever-expanding good. As Jesus the Christ said, heaven is spread out all over the place, but human beings see it not. The heavens are everywhere, glorifying God. Stories where we all glorify what I call the force, glorify the presence, and glorify God as the beloved community. And we can begin to start with ourselves, because our world is nothing more than an outpicturing of the group consciousness. It's an outpicturing of our collective stories. So the best place to improve the world is to improve ourselves and up-leveling our stories so they reflect the truth of our being rather than the lies and the misinterpretations we've been told either to us or we've been telling to ourselves. The truth is, we are extensions of the love intelligence that governs this magnificent universe. We live from that story. As we do that, our part is expanding the beloved community. And by taking one area of our life, what we want to do is practice the intense practice of the love ethic. Just one area where we can rebel against business as usual, the noise from the world. One area of our life where forgiveness becomes the order of the day, where our seemingly upside down world will now become right side up. And we do this in our own environment. And then we watch and we see it spread like wildfire because we are in tune with the way things really are spiritually. That underneath the business as usual, behind the loud noises of the world, there is an idea. There is a spiritual plan. There is a wholeness. There is a harmony that is waiting to be expressed through and as us. Well, as they say in the old school, brothers and sisters of God, the time is now. The place is wherever you are. Start telling the stories that demonstrate you are more than you ever thought you could be. The world needs us to be those channels. The world needs us to be those storytellers for the full expression of this presence of divine love itself, so that we may anchor this truth on earth as it is in the mind and the heart of the infinite presence, the force. It's a story that is without end, a story that is seen through the eyes of love. Peace and blessings to you. Well, we have, as we know, each week an affirmation that we take with us to reinforce some aspect of the lesson for the week. And that affirmation is on our screen. I invite you to affirm it together with me. I open to inner peace, The reality of love and peace permeates my being. I see the world through the eyes of love. I am love, yes. And next week, we're going to do the Grateful Heart. We're going to have a little special program for you next week. We invite you to be here. It should be one you'll be grateful for. And for those who are online, we invite you to support the spreading of this message and the possibilities of the human spirit. And you can do that by giving your gift or your donation by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, and you give in other ways, including by mail. So we invite those who are watching online, wherever time you happen to be seeing this, to support this work. And also to help spread the word, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, click, like, subscribe, share, whatever platform you're on. That'll help get the word out as well. And for those who are present, we have an opportunity to give from that heart space, to get in the flow of circulation. And to do that even more, let's deepen that truth as we affirm our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
You figure it out. Where's Waldo? We need her, so yeah. And the sun is going to find Paula. That's a good idea. She'll love that. It won't embarrass her. Paula, Paula, Paula. Yeah, put a beat behind it. Paula, 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 Paula. It was Reverend James' idea, okay? It was. I swear to God.
Well, Deborah did say we got a lot going on. I was in there preparing for the next thing.
Of course you were. You have no idea how much
she works.
Yes, it's a lot.
Okay, so anyway,
All right,
here we are,
Let's do it.
and I'm alive.
You are. You're alive. That's our tune. That's fun. We should do that again.
We should do what?
That.
The Paula chant.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Next week it's you.
Where's my son? Whew, okay.
All right.
First breath, a new sky. You hung the stars and placed the sunrise. Painted colors of yellow and green, and every color in between. From the dust became flesh and bone, the greatest gift I've ever known. I'm alive.
my first steps, my new dreams in every sunset. What a gift Spirit gives me every day. I open up my soul to say, and wake up every morning in your light. And I'm so glad I'm alive. Life traveling on, and when my time has come to say from dust to dust, and you bring me safely home. I take my first breath, I see the new sky, I hear the angels, I see with heaven's eyes, and I know,
Oh, we're all alive. Can't help but feel alive to hearing that wonderful song, that rendition. And as we prepare for our closing, let us take a few moments to first bless those who have given today, whether in person or online, knowing that the givers will be supported in ways that is beyond maybe our knowing at this moment. For they're in the flow of a principle that says whatever you give out comes back to you, and it comes back in many different forms. Your giving supports the work that we're doing to help transform lives, to up-level our loving, our serving, and our remembering the truth of who and what we are, and we are grateful. We also express the high watch for those who have left prayers in the prayer box, whatever they may be. For we know that we all from time to time run into challenges and difficulties that on a human plane we do not have the ability to change or transform. So we rely on the force, the presence that is all, knows all, and is everywhere present. It knows the answer before the prayer is uttered, and there is a divine and perfect solution to every seeming challenge. And there's a lesson to be learned along the way. So we bless those who have left those prayers in the prayer box. We send them on to Unity Village for an additional 30 days of prayer for raising the vibration even more and helping others evolve into their spiritual highest self. This and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth doing our part to spread the expanding good in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that, let us join together as we first say our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Let's be the moment with every step I take. Let this be my joyous path to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me.
Peace and blessings to you. Get your gala tickets in the courtyard.